Blog Talk Radio.
The funeral is about to begin, sir.
The calling hours.
When there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk here.
They will say that I have shed innocent blood. What's blood for, if not for shedding? Kill all thy death, so thy love.
Welcome to another episode of The Calling Hours on Horror Society Radio. Once again, it is your host, Michael Jones, the Dedman from Horror Society, saying hello to all the horror fans out there. We are going to have a really good night tonight. In our indie spotlight, first off, we're going to have our buddy Scott Perry on. For those of you who don't remember Scott is the gentleman who does the In Fear Of series, and he just had an extremely successful weekend at the Macabre Film Festival up in New York. So at 8:15, we're going to have Scott come on and tell us a little bit about the experience and all the exposure the series is getting overseas. I'm seeing some crazy numbers out of Italy, and I know Scott's going to want to share that with everybody. Our feature interview this evening is going to be with Kelsey Zukowski, Marv Blauvelt, I hope I said that right. Marv, you can correct me when you come on, and Felissa Rose. I think we all know who that is, don't we? That's right, Angela from Sleepaway Camp. But they're going to be on this evening to talk about their careers. They're also going to be talking about their new project Within These Walls, and I'm pretty intrigued. It's a gritty psychological ghost feature film by James Tucker and, once again, Kelsey Zukowski. So we will ask them all about it at 8:30. Just to let you know, in the Metal Blade Spotlight this evening, we are going to be featuring Bodyfarm. So our good friends out at Metal Blade Records, in particular Kelly, thank you once again for sending along such a meaty selection. Most of the people who've been listening the last couple of weeks know that the metal's been a little different here and there recently, but tonight we get back on track with what you're used to hearing. We are also going to be reviewing the Blu-ray edition of Scream Factory's The Beast Within. I thank my good friend Tom Chen out there and Scream Factory for sending that along. And all of these things that we're going to discuss, the CD, the music, the DVD, we will have reviews up on HorrorSociety.com shortly. But what we're going to do first is we're going to cover a little bit of news. Two of them come from our friends at Scream Factory, actually. These are both Blu-ray releases. The first one is going to be the Darkman Collector's Edition Blu-ray, starring Golden Globe nominee Liam Neeson and Oscar winner Frances McDormand. February 18th, we get to see Darkman on Blu-ray, and I've actually received a screener copy of this, and it'll be a movie I'll be covering very shortly in the next couple podcasts. We have a couple special shows coming up that we're going to announce later on, and I want to get the right films lined up with those, so... But for those of you that don't know anything about Darkman, crime has a new enemy and justice has a brand new face. Fans of visionary director Sam Raimi know well the story of Dr. Peyton Westlake and his tragic transformation into the action hero known as Darkman. Based on Raimi's short story The Darkman, the popular crime-fighting master of disguises comes to life in the 1990 film adaptation Darkman, starring three-time Golden Globe nominee Liam Neeson and Oscar winner Frances McDormand. Directed by Sam Raimi, this explosive, action-packed thriller also stars Colin Friels, Larry Drake, Dan Hicks, and Nicholas Worth, and features soundtrack by award-winning composer Danny Elfman. On February 18th, 2014, Scream Factory will release Darkman's Collector's Edition Blu-ray, featuring all new interviews with Liam Neeson, Frances McDormand, Larry Drake, Danny Hicks, makeup effects artist Tony Gardner, production designer Randy Sir, art director Philip DeGort, and much more. This definitive collector's edition also contains a collectible cover featuring newly rendered retro-style artwork, a reversible cover wrap with original theatrical key art, a must-have for loyal fans, movie collectors, and pop culture and comic book enthusiasts to complete their entertainment library. Darkman Collector's Edition Blu-ray is priced to own at $29.93. Avid fans and collectors, please take note. Those who order Darkman's Collector's Edition Blu-ray from ScreamFactoryDVD.com will receive an exclusive 18x24 poster featuring the newly commissioned artwork. They are only available while supplies last. And, you know, Sam Raimi fan, whether you're an Evil Dead fan, Spider-Man fan, whatever, if you're a fan of Darkman, I'm really looking forward to watching it. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's one of my favorite movies, but I think it'll be great to watch it on DVD and see all the host of extras that Scream Factory puts on it. This definitely looks like it'll be a top-notch Blu-ray release, so I'm really looking forward to that. Now, some of the special features: interviews with Liam Neeson and Frances McDormand, My Life is Durant, interview with Larry Drake, The Face of Vengeance, interview with makeup designer Tony Gardner, Henchman Tales, interviews with actors Danny Hicks and Dan Bell, Dark Design, which is an interview with production designer Randy Sir and art director Philip DeGort, audio commentary with director of photography Bill Pope, a vintage making of and interview featurettes featuring interviews with Raimi, Neeson, and McDormand and more, virtual full-length interviews not used in the featurettes with Sam Raimi, Liam Neeson, and Frances McDormand, theatrical trailer, TV spots, and still galleries. So it definitely looks like it's going to be a chock-full release. And, you know, Scream Factory, as we've seen in the past, when they put their weight behind something, they certainly go all in with it. So I'm definitely looking forward to that release. And that leads to the next release. Scream Factory presents The Slumber Party Massacre, featuring a new high-definition transfer of this cult classic. And this will be available for the first time on Blu-ray March 18th, 2014. Loyal fans and horror enthusiasts are invited to join Scream Factory for the ultimate sleepover when Amy Holden Jones's The Slumber Party Massacre, starring Michelle Michaels, Robin Still, Michael Villela, and Andre Honor, debuts on Blu-ray for the first time on March 18th. This highly collectible Blu-ray edition features a new high-definition transfer and killer bonus content. A must-have for all slasher film and movie collectors, this definitive Blu-ray release of The Slumber Party Massacre is priced to own at $24.97. The Slumber Party Massacre helped define the slasher film ethos of the 1980s. Put together by first-time director Amy Holden from a script titled Don't Open the Door by celebrated author Rita Mae Brown, the film was an immediate hit for Roger Corman's New World Pictures, eventually spawning 2 sequels and became a staple in mom-and-pop corner video stores in the 80s. When Trish decides to invite her high school girls' basketball teammates over for a slumber party, she has no idea the night is going to end with an unexpected guest, an escaped mental patient and his portable power drill, crashing the party in the cult classic The Slumber Party Massacre. Bonus features will include a new HD transfer from the original camera negative, new interview with actor Rig Kennedy, Sleepless Nights, the making of The Slumber Party Massacre, Audio commentary with director Amy Holden Jones, actors Michael Villela and Deborah DeLiso, and the theatrical trailers. So, again, another classic, 1982, 1983, being released by Scream Factory. It looks like this one's not a bare-bones release. We're going to get some new interviews, and knowing Scream Factory, they also like to add all kinds of new things. So I'm definitely looking forward to that one as well. In about 5 minutes, we should be having Scott Perry on from the In Fear Of series to tell us about his weekend at the Macabre Film Festival up in New York. So before we get to that, we do have one more bit of news, and this is a bit of TV news. One of my fellow writers over at Horror Society posted this. More casting for NBC's Rosemary's Baby miniseries. A couple of weeks back, we brought you some important casting news for the NBC miniseries event for their adaptation of Rosemary's Baby, with the casting of lead actress Zoe Saldana. Well, today's news has developed with more casting announcements on the film. Patrick J. Adams and Jason Isaacs have both been cast in lead roles. Deadline is reporting suit star Patrick J. Adams is set as the male lead opposite Zoe Saldana in NBC's 4-hour miniseries Rosemary's Baby, an adaptation of the 1967 best-selling suspense novel by Ira Levin. Jason Isaacs also has joined the mini, directed by Agnieszka Holland. It centers on Rosemary Woodhouse, a young wife and would-be mother who, with her husband Guy, moves into a Paris apartment that has a dark past. After finally getting pregnant, she becomes increasingly suspicious that both her husband and their mysterious neighbors have ulterior motives about the future of her child. Isaacs will play Warlock Coven leader Roman Castevet, the role played by Sidney Blackmer in Roman Polanski's 1968 feature adaptation, in which Guy was played by John Cassavetes. Filming on Rosemary's Baby, produced by Lionsgate TV, is slated to begin shortly in Paris. And, I'm kind of interested to see where this goes. A modern rendition of the story. It kind of harkens back to what we were talking about last week when we were talking about the From Dusk Till Dawn series getting ready to premiere on El Rey TV. And I think it's kind of funny how a lot of the films that are our favorites, or, childhood films, are now starting to become TV miniseries and expanded out. And I think TV shows like, The Walking Dead and, the other show that's on, I don't even watch it, the Asylum show. But, I think the mainstream public is getting more, I don't know if used to horror or wants more horror in their diet, but we're starting to get it. And we're seeing that with everything, really, the influx of superheroes, all the Marvel stuff, and, excuse me, S.H.I.E.L.D. being on TV. But, Rosemary's Baby, it'll be interesting to see. It was, one of those movies from the late 60s, early 70s that, that I can go back to and enjoy. We had Miss Farrow in there. Wow. Always enjoyable. But coming up here in a moment, Scott Perry from the In Fear Of series should be joining us for our Indie Spotlight. And our feature interview coming up at 8:30 will be with the wonderful people doing the film Within These Walls. We will be hearing from Kelsey Zukowski, Marv Blauvelt, and Felissa Rose. So that should be happening any second now. And I think we have Scott. Thank you for calling.
Hello.
What's up, Scott?
Hello.
What's up, man?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm good. Look, man, from everything I've been seeing on Facebook, it seems like you had a blast up there at the Macabre Film Festival, man. Fill us in on what's going on with that, the reception it got, and what's new with the In Fear Of.
All right. Well, I always consider the Macabre Fair Film Festival like an unofficial home for In Fear Of. We premiered the first season there. We had a great screening there last year, and we really had a warm ovation, and a lot of the people that we met at the festival and the fair last year, I worked with over the course of 2013 and got to air some of the episodes this past weekend. We had a sold-out screening. I believe we were the only ones that were sold out both days.
Standing room, I heard.
Everybody standing room, and we had, I think everybody really, really liked it. We had a great reaction to all, and I think everybody saw how far wide we're going with the genre in it, and how each one was different from the other. But I was really, really happy that we got the ovation that we had, and everybody seemed to enjoy it.
Well, I come from a fortunate side of that. I was, unfortunately, I could not make it up to the festival, but I was a judge for the film festival and screened everything that was voted on. And I can say, because I saw most of the In Fear Of series before becoming a judge, and I'm very impressed with it. Can you, for those that might have missed the first show, kind of tell people who you've been working with in the series, some of your actors and actresses, and what they're, how excited they've been to work on the series with you.
Well, for this particular season that we're getting up now, I mean, we've been working with pretty much the same people that we have with season one. We had a lot of people come back for it, but one of the episodes that we premiered over the weekend that got a huge ovation was Agoraphobia, Fear of Leaving Home, which stars Ann Bobby from the Clive Barker classic Nightbreed, with the Cabal cut coming out later this year. Working with Ann was an absolute, dream and a blast, from a producing standpoint. And, Robert Brodmerkel, he directed it. He wrote and directed a beautiful piece. And, for him to get to work with one of his favorite actresses from when he was younger, and one of the films that most influenced him, was incredible to see. And Ann has been a great supporter of the series. Not only appearing in that, but writing and producing her own episode as well, which I've seen the rough cut, and it looks really, really good. In addition to that, the Macabre Fair hosts and organizers, both Adam Ginsberg and Elsie Macabre, who are two fabulous people, both had different roles within the series. For Adam, he had a fantastic role in Marinthophobia, Fear of Being Bound, where he got to play two roles, actually, which is the photographer and a killer. And he came up with that. He came up with the look of the killer itself, and it's one of the most, for me, I think it's the scariest thing I've done from a horror standpoint today, and he's mainly responsible for that. And Elsie is our hostess of the show Open, which for every episode, and we went back and put that open in the first season. So for all the 20 episodes that we've done, she'll be pretty much introducing all of them, for it. So, she was able to get this haunted house, Schmidt's Haunted Family House, where we shot for a night and had a great time doing it. And, it's, the help that they've given for the series overall has been invaluable. We've also worked with Debbie Rashan, who starred in the season one episode, but came back and wrote and co-directed an episode with me. Susie Lorraine from Wonton Baby, Captured Hearts, Rachel Robbins, also from Captured Hearts, who gave a hilarious performance in Fear of Insanity. Larry Wade Carroll, my brother Larry from Jacob, which is probably one of the best independent films I've seen in horror in the last few years. Working with him, and Myra Leal from Robert Rodriguez's Machete, down in For Fear of Abandonment, and and also, in addition to Bob being my series producer partner, also Stephen Mark Lassner, who has been with me every step of the way on this season. And also for the first season, and having an episode for this season, Jeremiah Kipp with Fear of Blindness, Gotomophobia with Susan Adrianson, Brian Pearson, who is an American Gangster, Edward X. Young, Bradley Cranzo, who also directed an episode. So it's been, I'm naming a few, and I'm not even naming, I don't think, a quarter of the people who have worked on this season so far. So it's been exciting. It's been daunting. I have to mention Chris Alexander from Fangoria Magazine, who did the score for 2 episodes that played over the weekend. He took the time out of his busy schedule to do it as well, so to help out with this series, and I can't thank everybody enough for the support that they've given it, and it's been very overwhelming, for sure.
Very nice. Were you surprised? I mean, how much of a devotion it had? I mean, I've seen the pictures, and I've chatted with a few people that were there. I mean, just how big was it this year?
It was big. It was a little bigger than I thought it would be. I'm not one to, my thing is, I'm just like, okay, here's what's going on. Here's my film. Go and watch it. I'm not the best in terms of putting up a post every 5 minutes and ramming something down your throat all the time. My thing is, if you like it, you like it. If not, that's it. But I think because of all the projects we've been working on this year and the fact that we were, updating everybody and saying, okay, we just wrapped this episode, we just wrapped this episode, just wrapped that episode. So I think the fact that people were seeing the amount of work that was being put in, from so many people, I think that alone is what I think was caused a buzz. And I'm very happy for that. I actually am surprised because, this pretty much has started as a simple idea and from March 2012, and to see it grow, from just an idea in my head to having a solid fan base here, and now growing internationally. It's been surreal, to say the least.
Speaking of internationally, tell me about this post. Something about 1 million hits from Italy.
Oh yes. Well, on New Year's Eve, I signed a distribution deal with a great PR company called Greater Fools Media with Andrea Matera and Lorenzo, these 2 great guys who had heard about a lot of things in Infira. There was an article written about Infira in Italy, and they really liked the concept, and they wanted to distribute it exclusively, for Italy, and just for Italy alone. And they wanted to create a special, transfer everything in Italian and put it on their servers and see if it can really sell. And being, Italy has a great horror fan base, it was really a no-brainer to do it. And over the weekend, we had signed a deal on New Year's Eve, and they had been working up something over the past few weeks, and we had discovered that we had a featured article in the Repubblica newspaper, which is the #1 newspaper in Italy. It's like the New York Times and USA Today.
Oh, wow.
Here. So it's as big as that. And, we found out that, with the exposure it was going to get, that, they were like, okay, we have 1 season 1 episode we would like to put up. And, they liked Aquaphobia, Fear of the Dark from season 1, which is the episode that stars Rain Brown. And with that strength, we found out that out of 100 shows that were playing on this channel, on this streaming channel, we were ranked 54th, and the article, both the article and the video combined got 1 million hits in one day. Wow.
I mean, you can't beat that. I mean, it's. I mean, like I said, I've watched them. You've shown them to me, and I'm impressed. Before I let you go, let people know where they can view them, where the website is, where they can follow you.
All right. Well, you can follow me on Facebook under my name, Scott W. Perry. You can also follow the series In Fear of Web series on Facebook and also on Twitter. It's the same name. We also have a website called www.infearoftheseries.com. And definitely keep updated with the website and also with me just to see what's going on, because we have a lot of we have a lot of great stuff happening this year. And at the Macabre Fair we only played 5 episodes. We have 9 we've yet to show. So and I think the best is yet to come. And and that's it. So if anybody my Italian friends put it best: you can't have horror without the fear.
That's true.
And
that's very true.
And it's been great showing the different fears that we have and showing them to people and recognizing some of these and seeing what we can do with them. So, basically just...
Well, man,
tone out and let us know what you're in fear of.
Definitely. Man, keep up the good work. You know we'll definitely have you on again. Keep me posted on anything so we can get it up on Horse Society. Thanks for coming on, Scott.
All right.
Thanks, man.
Thank you very much. Take care. Bye.
Bye. Once again, that was Scott W. Perry, the man in charge of the In Fear of series. Definitely go and check his work out. Once again, he had a terrific weekend at the Macabre Film Festival. Elsie Macabre up there and Adam Ginsberg know how to put together an event. Well, in a few minutes, we will go into our future interview. We are going to have Kelsey Zukowski, Marv Blauvelt, and please, Marv, tell me the correct way to say your name when you come on, and Felissa Rose to talk about their careers and their upcoming project Within These Walls. Before we get to that, we're going to go into our Metal Blade Spotlight for the evening. Tonight's band is Bodyfarm. The name of the CD is The Coming Scourge. The song is The Siege of the Mind. welcome back to the Calling Hours on Horse Society Radio. That was Bodyfarm off of their album The Coming Scourge. The name of the song was The Siege of the Mind. We will be highlighting more of them here after our feature interview. But speaking of our feature interview, tonight we are having on Kelsey Zukowski, Marv Blauvelt, and I hope I'm saying that right, and Felissa Rose. We're going to have them on to discuss their careers and their current project within these walls. And it looks like I have all three of them right now. Hello, guys.
Hey.
This is the Dedman.
Hey, how's it going?
It's good, guys. How are you? I'm glad to have you all on.
Thank you. We're glad to be here.
Doing good.
Yeah. When my good buddy there, Mike D, told me you guys were looking to come on the podcast, I had to jump at the chance. So I want to say thank you to Mike for helping set this up as well.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Well, guys,
great. And thanks for having us.
Oh, of course. Well, let's go around the table first so everyone knows. Marv, usually I say ladies first, but I have a feeling I have been butchering your last name all night. Please tell me how to say your last name.
You actually, it's funny, you actually said it right. It's Blauvelt. You get an A+.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, of course, we have Marv Blauvelt, actor, producer, writer, casting director, and casting department. The man wears many hats. We also have Kelsey Zukowski. I'm sorry, I'm tongue-tied right now.
You got it. You're good.
Actress, writer, producer, second unit director, assistant director, camera and electrical department, makeup department, and
some of those credits might be generous, but yeah.
We all know how IMDb is, and of course we cannot forget. Now I'm a little bit older than the average, probably teenager that's listening, but Miss Felissa Rose was one of those women that gave me nightmares in my youth. And we all know what movie we're talking about. Don't apologize. It's still, to me, one of the most iconic moments in horror history. And, of course, Felissa's actress, producer, and casting department with over 46 credited roles according to IMDb on her credit. Guys, like I said, I'm thrilled to have you on. I'm going to be asking you questions about all aspects of your career, and, of course, we're going to talk a lot about your current project within these walls. Just to kind of get it started, Kelsey, you're directing. You did the film with James Tucker. Kind of tell us how you came up with, what your side of the film was, how the concept came about, and how you went about getting the talent that you did.
It started off as a collaboration with James. We wanted to do a film that was mostly based in one house, something, ghost, but we wanted it to be much more gritty and disturbing, and we still wanted to avoid the whole CGI and have it more in practical effects and just to have this kind of raw realism to it. So, and luckily he likes as disturbing films as I do, so it worked out, and we just got to work on the script, and I'm just honored with everyone we got involved with it. Everyone from cast to crew, everyone was just so talented and driven and really gave it their all and then some. So, and thanks to Marv and Felissa for being a part of it.
Well, thank you.
Now, Marv, how did you wind up?
Thank you, Kelsey.
Now, Marv, how did you wind up becoming involved? What was it about the project that made you say, yeah, I want to work on this?
Well, first, Kelsey and I have a long history of working together. Kelsey and I worked together on a segment of the movie Psycho Street, Lewis segments. It was one of her first films that she played my mistress in that film. It was shot in Chicago. And then we also worked together on a film called Inhumane, and I play a serial killer, and she plays a hooker who I kill. So we have a long history, and now Kelsey is my roommate in Los Angeles, so that's always good. But, it's funny, Kelsey was looking for somebody to play her father, and I always play these brutal rageaholic characters usually, these shady, awful characters, and I rarely get a chance to play a good guy, and I am a father in real life, so Kelsey had been looking for somebody to play the father. I think she had a casting call out on LA Casting and several of the casting websites, and she finally couldn't find anybody she liked, and she eventually said, "Hey, well, what do you think about it?" She was talking to James, and I jumped at the chance. I love supernatural thrillers. I love movies like The Entity and Amityville Horror, movies like that. And I've never done, I've done a lot of serial killer and slasher flicks, but never something that was this rooted. The script is great, and working with Kelsey and James Tucker, it turns out James and I had worked with some people, the same people out of New York when I started acting. It was great. I loved it. It was a really cool character. It was great chemistry between Kelsey and I. We already had great chemistry already, so it was really nice. So I've gone from playing her she's gone from playing my mistress to my hooker that I killed to my daughter. So it's kind of funny. It's kind of a strange progression.
Almost full circle and kind of
some interesting relationships.
Exactly.
Now, Felissa,
and then
how
roommates
about
in real life.
Yeah,
I know. It all kind of. Now, Felissa, how about with you? What was it that drew you to your character and the motive? Like something that I saw that you don't see with a lot of movies. You took your character of Sage Hawthorne, and there's a complete web page for the character. So kind of tell us how you got involved, and then how you got into the character to such a level that you went to the effort of making. I mean, and it's a fully functional web page for those that haven't been. It's not just like, oh, here's a picture of Felissa's character. I mean, this looks like you're looking at a real paranormal investigator's website.
And that is all, out of the incredible genius creation of both James Tucker, the director and co-writer, and Kelsey. The two of them created Sage, created the website, and I was just fortunate enough to have met Kelsey on the set of a movie I produced called No Solicitors. It's sort of, how the horror community is just a small family. Everyone knows each other. We all, fall in love with one another. And I had met Marv. Through the years, we just immediately connected at conventions, and then when he moved to L.A., we became very, very close friends and wanted to work together. So he was cast in my movie, and then he brought Kelsey on board, and it was like, you just keep wanting to work together and be together and spend time together, and I feel I have to say thank you, Kelsey, for having me. I loved the part. I had a ball. She's a bitch and a half.
Nailed it.
She's so creepy, crazy, ahead of herself, righteous, biatch. And I don't want to give too much away, but she gets hers in the end. So I loved playing the character. I filmed for a whole day, and they were just like the loveliest cast and crew you could ever want to work with.
Very nice, very nice. Now, it seems like ghost films, hauntings and things like that have started to become more and more popular. We could go with The Exorcism of Emily Rose and some of the more mainstream stuff, but one of the other paranormal films that kind of caught my attention over the last year was Tyler Mane and Renee Geerling's Compound Fracture. And what I'm starting to notice is, why does it seem like the independent circuit is doing the better ghost movies with practical effects as opposed to what Hollywood's given us? What is the draw now with everyone doing, haunting paranormal stories?
I mean, I would argue to an extent that that's just horror. I usually think the best, mainstream-wise, I don't even think that's like an accurate depiction of horror. I think the best stuff is really Indian foreign and, horror with a purpose and, story and not, So, I guess it kind of goes in with that, there's, like, I know our film was really based on this just kind of total isolation and being really a total prisoner in your own home in either body and just totally being attacked and having your control ripped away from you in every way, and just how long you can endure that, like how much can like the mind and body actually go through. So I guess it's just like a lot of it, I think, even kind of is depicting on fear, and the biggest basis of fear is that not having control. So just a lot of things to explore there, I guess.
Now, the film was shot on Red Epic by DP Ryan Baker.
Yeah.
Now, and this kind of spreads out. Now, Marv, I'm not 100% sure. I'm looking over. I've looked over your credits on IMDb, and it looks like has everything you've shot been digital, or have you ever shot anything on film?
I've never shot anything on film, but yeah, most of the stuff has been digital. I've been in several films that have been shot on the Red. Obviously, I did No Solicitors with Felissa, and I think that was shot on the Red, wasn't it, Felissa?
Yes, that was the Red one. Yeah.
Yeah, and I did a movie called Marinade in New York, which is not out yet, which was shot about 3 years ago, and that was when the Red was getting popular, and we shot that on the Red. And I think Sculpture was shot, but no, I've never done anything on film at this point. I think maybe because my career started, when video and the Red was.
I was just about to say, forgive me for jumping in, but it's like film. What's that? I used to be. No, I mean, film is sadly a dinosaur. As glorious and beautiful as as it looks and it appears in so many films, it's amazing to get a film, I think, off the ground, or a project rather. These days we're fortunate to have amazing cameras like the Alexa, the Red Epic, the Red One. There are incredible cameras, and film is just, Hollywood, really, big budget studio. And these days they go to the digital themselves,
Right.
Like 28 Days Later. Wasn't that shot on digital?
I think it was. I don't know about
I think so. Yeah,
the found footage movies, are they being shot on digital too? I mean, there's so many of those.
Yeah. I mean, it's just lesser cost and still gorgeous to look at. You can still get a beautiful picture,
Oh, sure. And what I wanted to ask was, I've been fortunate. I got to work on one 35 millimeter film, and of course, Felissa, you have as well. And where I wanted to go with this is we've both worked on film. What have you noticed as an actress over the years? Do you feel like things have to be done differently as an actor or an actress when you're filming on high-end definition like that, as opposed to how it would have been filmed, say, back when you did Sleepaway Camp?
Well, you're certainly not going to look as beautiful. Film gives you that really kind of beautiful, obviously, as you get older, I did a documentary called Something to Scream About, and actresses like Julie Strain talk in depth about having to switch over to, like, high def, and she wanted a facelift after seeing herself so close up. So it's a lot stronger, if you will, like your performance, your facial features, everything is just so boom, right in your face, I think, with high def, as opposed to film. You get a much more classic kind of swooping over, swept over, gorgeous kind of a look, like the filters with all of the Instagram, let's say. So I think that you sort of do have to adapt to your current, circumstances. But all in all, I just think we're really fortunate to have everything, and whatever works for you financially is always the best, is a great thing. But I love both, and I used to feel like, the film, I love even 16 millimeter. It's like it's gorgeous,
right.
but it really allows us to work today.
Well, now, Kelsey, for you and Marv, for you, since Kelsey, I'm assuming you've never worked on 35 or anything like that either, have you?
No.
Has it ever, now for both of you, for you and Marv, since you guys have never done it, do you ever aspire to do something on film?
I mean, like Felissa said, I can see like the benefits to both, and kind of it does give you a different look, I guess, especially if you're going for something like gritty. I could see the benefit of film, but also, there's so much that can be done with digital, especially being usually people who work with pretty low budget horror. It's definitely great to have the option capabilities and still have it look like high quality film.
Right.
I just want to work. I mean, like,
right. Let's just make a movie. Who cares?
Yeah.
No, I think but I think Felissa did hit on something in what she said. There, even in today's standards, working on film, there is a difference between shooting on film and shooting on digital. It's almost like a magical feeling. I don't know how else to put it. It was as fun as it was for when I worked on my first film. It was a digital film. But, to actually look back on my resume, even though, I've not done anything to anywhere near the level of what you guys have done, but I can look back on my resume and go, you know what, I worked on a real 35-millimeter film. It's just a different experience, and I was just wondering if that was something you guys would be interested in one day. But
I think, given the budget, we will aspire to one day do that again. But as Kelsey said, in low-budget filmmaking, we just want to work, and that's why some of the projects are so incredible, because the passion is behind it. Maybe not the film, but the soulful kind of, profound creation of what these incredible filmmakers today want to do. And if they can get their hands on the Red, or any of the other cameras that afford them that, it's terrific. We're lucky for that. But I agree with you, film. I used to cry over the fact that it was so difficult to get something going on film. Beautiful. It's beautiful. We need more. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's just an interesting aspect. I mean, it completely changes the way you look at making a project sometimes. But now, tell us some more about within these walls. I mean, I know you're trying to keep it pretty much spoiler free, but from each of your perspectives, what can you tell me that won't give it away, but will make people go, "Damn, I just need to go see this movie"?
I mean, I think I touched on it a little bit, so forgive me if I'm being repetitive, but
it's quite okay.
I can hear it. It really starts off with my character moves back to her childhood home after graduating from college, and she's a writer. And so she's thinking, just figuring out her life and going back home. And but of course, this home is where her mother had committed suicide. So also, since she had been away when her mother died, she feels a lot of kind of regret and responsibility, and it's still a lot of things that she hasn't dealt with and very much like still in her subconscious. So, kind of weird things start to happen around the house, and at first she thinks that maybe like her mother's spirit is still in this house, and she's, scared and on edge, but it's and even as she starts to be kind of attacked by it, she even almost feels like she deserves this for, potentially abandoning her mother and not saving her. So as things, escalate from there, it becomes pretty clear that this is something much more demanding and relentless that just was really prying on her fear, and it gets pretty disturbing, and I'm not going to lie.
Disturbing is good. We like that here.
Yeah. But really, it's just the idea of this kind of ripping away of all control, and, also with her mother committed suicide partially due to kind of a mental instability. So for a while, she's fearing is like, am I just going crazy? And then kind of as things become more real and kind of jump over the hurdle of this line of fiction and reality, it just kind of traps her more and really just drives her to the edge of sanity.
Now, Marv, for you had mentioned earlier, you're used to playing more of the bad guy role. Did you find it difficult switching over to more of the good guy role in that? And like you had mentioned before, being a father and a family man, do you find it easy to bring that side of you to your film work, especially in this film?
I do. My character is just my character is like the Scully of the family. He's very skeptical. He's very non-believing of anything otherworldly. And he's a very caring father. He's a very caring father, but I think he has that layer of ignorance because he does not want to think outside the box.
Sure.
So it's a great role. I was very happy to have a great dialogue. Kelsey and James wrote an amazing script. The dialogue was great. There's great character studies. I do prefer playing evil and vile. I just have a knack for that.
I was getting ready to ask you that.
I do. I have a knack for playing just really vile, rageaholic, awful characters, and I like that. That's how I started acting. My first, I think, 3 or 4 characters were villains and bad, and I've played some good characters. I've played some really eccentric characters, but I really did love this because I rarely get to play a good character, so it was fun. And I got to say, James Tucker was an amazing director, and like Felissa and Kelsey both said, the crew was excellent. And I got to tell you, being Kelsey's roommate, Kelsey worked her tail off. I mean, she was going to set at 7 in the morning and getting home at 3 in the morning, and and I know we were all putting in long days, but she put in. I mean, she's virtually there every day of the shoot, and I don't know how she survived it. I really don't. So I got to take my hat off to her, because she not only did she write and help produce the film, but she was a workaholic. She really was amazing, and she had a lot of dialogue. I mean, I was amazed with the dialogue that Kelsey was memorizing every day. It was incredible. So good job, by the way.
I don't know how I did it either.
I don't know how you did it either. I really don't. It was a lot. I was like, she was doing full days with tons of dialogue and action scenes on maybe 2 hours of sleep a night for like 5 days straight, or maybe 6. So
Wow.
6 days straight. It was. I really felt for her, because we all were putting in. We did it because we loved it. We loved the script. We loved who we were working with. But man, Kelsey was like a workhorse. She really was. She was great.
It was definitely one of those
like face.
Working off adrenaline type things, where you just kind of, and it helped that everyone was so passionate about it and driven with it, that it was just like we were all operating on like a week of no sleep pretty much, but it was something we were really into and wanted to do and bring it out, and it definitely helped with the more intense scenes, because you're like literally being thrown around the room. It kind of wakes you up.
Yeah. Now, Felissa, for you, how easy did you find it to slip into the role of Sage Hawthorne? Like I said, I mean, I know you had mentioned that. You had mentioned that. No. That is not meant as an insult at all. I'm just wondering, because, like I said, when you look at the website, and I understand it was set up by the director and everything, but it gives such a depth to the character. Like, do you believe in the paranormal like that? Are you into paranormal investigations? I mean, was it easy for you to slide into the role of playing that, or did you find that to be something you had to research a little bit for the role?
You know what? I think, well, first of all, I do believe. I love that whole aspect of life, or the afterlife rather. I love ghost hunting. In fact, I did an interview the other night, and I was saying, like, I used to go see a medium. I see psychics. I love that whole kind of, just, it's exciting to me, and it's really interesting. I love sci-fi shows, ghost adventures. They really speak to me in a way that, there's life after death. And so that part was super easy because I love it, and it's part of me. And as an actor, you always want to find, parts of the character that you relate to. I play a lot of victims. I play a lot of monsters. But she was just like a downright know-it-all bitch, So thank you to Kelsey for writing a character that was really fun. It was really fun. And in what Marv said about Kelsey, it's true. I've never seen someone work so in such a way, like giving it her all every day, every minute, every second, and with a smile on her face, giving to the other actors. If you want to see a movie with an actress who's so incredibly talented and who wrote such a great script with such passion, this is the movie to see. And I thank you for writing Sage. I know it was sort of like a last minute, they kind of changed it around, which I'm very grateful. She wrote turned it around for me. It was a part written for a man, which I could have played too, I guess.
Bring it back.
So, I have my penis. I'm ready. So it worked out really well, and I love the character and the script. So go see this movie, people.
All right. Well, let's get to that part of it. I take you guys are done with the principal photography. You're in post-production now, correct?
Yes.
Okay. What are you guys hoping for? Are you? I mean, you've always got to ask the question. Are you looking for theatrical distribution? Are you looking to take it out on tour? Like, again, I'll use the example of Compound Fracture and Matt Farnsworth and Diane Foster. Basically took The Orphan Killer everywhere and self-distributed. Mm-hmm. Are you looking to go more that route? Do you want to go film festivals first, or are you hoping a studio picks it up?
We're definitely going to try to get at some film festivals, do that run first, and then distribution from there. So it's pretty much, I know the director just told me he has, like, the first rough cut of it, and then in February there's a few more of the pickup shots that were, like, different locations, because everything we shot in that insane 6 days was all in this house. So these are the few other, a few dream sequences and things that are in other locations. So, yeah, we're about 90% done, of course, and, however long post takes. But, yeah, we definitely have pretty big expectations for it. We definitely think it's going to be going somewhere. It's just a matter of where. So, yeah, hopefully we can share it with you all soon.
Well, now let's follow along with that. Marv, being in horror and doing premieres and things like that, let's bring up the horror convention circuit. Let's bring up the film festivals and things like that. I take it you've had the opportunity to go to several. What have your experiences been with fans? And part of putting your film out there is finding the right festival.
Right.
What kind of crowds are you thinking would be perfect for within these walls?
It's funny that you asked that question. That's a really great question. I would love to see. I do a lot of the conventions, like Horror Hound and Scarefest and Friday Night Film Fest. I would love to see a lot of these horror film conventions also have a paranormal convention attached to them. I know Lexington, Kentucky, which is one of my favorite festivals to do, or conventions to do, has a paranormal convention going along with it and a film fest. So I think this movie is perfect for conventions that may have a paranormal aspect to them. I would love to see it go that route. It's always nice too. I kind of have my own production company, Muscle Productions. This is not a Muscle production, but it's always nice as an actor to have movies that you've done outside of your own, little company that you can have to sell at your tables and cross promote with other people. So it's always nice to have. It's funny because I love sitting next to people like Tiffany Shepis and Debbie Rochon and people like that, and Tiffany will have a whole table of every movie she did, and she'll suggest some movies to some of her fans. Others she'll say, maybe you should go with this one other than that one. So this is definitely, if I get back on the circuit next year, and the movie comes out, we're able to have copies to sell after it gets distribution.
Certainly.
This is definitely, I would totally suggest, for fans to pick up at the table. So it's always nice to have that kind of arsenal, when you're touring. But I would also like to see it get into festivals too. It's always nice to get into, things like Shock Fest or Shriek Fest or, in LA or New York Film Festival, Horror Film Festival. A couple of my favorites, there's a really great Philadelphia, the Philly Terror Film Festival is really great. I love that film fest. So, it would be great to see it make that circuit as well.
Oh, we have a little one down here in North Carolina called the Nevermore Film Festival based out of Durham. I know they would love to get it, so maybe I can keep that in mind when festival time comes around.
Awesome, definitely. Lots of good options. There's so many good venues, and really anyone who appreciates the genre and is just looking for, it's like really story-based character. There's a lot of surreal elements in it. Gritty-driven film, so I hope, there's a fairly wide audience for it, but then again, it is a disturbing film, so it's not going to be for everyone. But I think it's pretty safe to say within these conventions and horror film festivals that it would be very much at home there.
Now, Felissa, for you, we all know you have been part of the madness that is the convention circuit. We know when they did the Sleepaway Camp reunion, I mean, I've read stories about how insane that was. Being on that side of it and having a film that was so popular that it spawns its own convention, what do you feel like within these walls will bring to the convention circuit, and what do you expect the crowd reactions to be?
Oh, I lost.
Hello, Felissa?
I think we lost Felissa.
Okay. Okay, well, Felissa, if you hear us, please do call back. She might be on hold. I mean, she could be on hold because I'm showing she's still on the line. So.
Okay. Yeah, you.
It's all right. It's all right. Well, let me ask you guys this then. Let me ask you about some of the other stuff. Marv, I was looking back over your resume, and I see back in 2009 you worked with a buddy of mine up in Minnesota. You did a little film called Terror Overload with my buddy Jason Stevenson. Tell us a little bit.
I haven't seen Jason in a long time. How is he doing?
I know he got out of film for a while, but the last time I talked to him, which was about a month or so ago, he's talking about getting back into it. But, I've been heralding that guy for a while. Kind of tell us how you got involved with Terror Overload and how you got involved with Jason.
Well, this is a funny story. It's from the festivals and the conventions. I used to be one of the organizers for the Dark Carnival Film Festival in Bloomington, Indiana. And Jason had a movie called, it was a zombie film. I can't remember.
Not to cut you off, Melissa, do we have you back?
Yeah, I'm here. Go ahead.
Oh,
sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
You want to go back?
It's okay.
No. I want to hear your story.
Oh, finish your story, but wait, I'll get back to Felissa.
So thank you. So Jason, I was a big fan of his zombie film, and I met him because he came to the convention in Indiana. The film was being screened, and anyway, so Jason was saying, he said, I'm getting ready to shoot an anthology next year. Would you be interested? I have this character. He's like this muscle-bound, kind of jerk-off truck driver who thinks he's got the gift, but he's really kind of white trash. And so he kind of nailed my character, right? So he so about a year later, he calls me up, and I think I was in Vegas on vacation, and he calls me up, and I was in a casino, I think, when he called. I remember this. He said, I want to offer you the lead in the Lounge Lizard segment. And he said, Ari Lehman's doing one segment, from Friday the 13th, and Joe Netter is going to be, writing your segment. I know Joe through Tiffany. And so
Joe is hysterical.
Joe is a riot. Joe is a very funny guy. Yeah, I love Joe.
I had him and Sarah on the podcast a couple weeks ago. Joe was absolutely... That is a not safe for work episode if you ever want to go listen to that.
I'm sure. Sarah's a sweetheart, too. She's really cool. So I drove up to Wisconsin, and, the script was pretty gritty. Joe wrote it. So I can remember, I don't know if you know, have you seen Terror Overload? Have you seen the film?
No, I never got a chance to see it, but I interviewed a lot of the people involved with it for him.
Okay, so basically my segment is about this really conceited, cocky truck driver who stops at this truck stop being told by a friend that that's where you pick up all the hottest women, right? So he goes into this truck stop. He picks up these two prostitutes who take him back to their apartment or whatever, and they basically chain him up and proceed to torture him with razors and knives, and so that's basically, and it's a found footage, basically found footage. So it was fun. It was gore. It was bloody. We shot at this strip joint / truck stop / bar in the middle of Wisconsin in the woods. Very colorful area, a very colorful establishment. And I will tell you the funniest thing I remember is we were all staying in Minnesota, so we had an hour and a half drive back to the hotel. And we got done, you know how indie film, you get done at like 2 or 3 in the morning. So we got done about 2 in the morning. There was no showers. I'm covered in, you know, from head to toe in blood. And I had driven. So I was driving back with one of the actors named David Gilkey, and I was speeding, and I get pulled over, and I'm covered in blood. And, so the police officer comes up, gets my, you know, my license, sees that I'm covered in blood, and then asks me to get out of the car. And, you know, I had to explain that I was shooting a film, and, of course, he didn't buy it. I finally had to call Jason and have him, you know, find where we were at to explain to this police officer that I hadn't murdered anyone. It was fake blood, and, so that was quite the experience. So, but, so Jason, I haven't worked with Jason since. I would love to work with Jason. So.
That's insane.
I've had something similar. I was driving back from a film set late one night, and I do mainly effects work, and I had a large thing of blood spill in the back of my SUV near the back door, and blood is coming out the back of my SUV as I'm going down the highway. So, I've been on
that was
into
pretty
that
bad.
one, too.
I think we all have these. Remember what happened during Inhumane, Marv, with the phone number thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, tell the story.
I start off that film just absolutely mutilated, thanks to Marv's handiwork. And at one point, you know, I take a picture. One of my friends was asking what I was doing, so I send them the picture from set. And I I look like I'm dead and buried pretty much. And I accidentally sent that to a wrong number. So that was interesting to try to explain. I almost had, the cops are almost like coming and tracking my number, and then I had to explain to him, like, no, sorry, I'm an actress, I swear, like, I'm fine. But that was, I think we've all had these interesting situations with lots of
Felissa,
gore.
have you had anything like that?
You know, I'm trying to think. I'm racking my brain. Other than just coming home completely bloody, like in a bikini to my kids and stuff like that. No, not really, like ever. No. I think it's, I'm afraid. Is my time up? It might happen to me soon.
Yes.
It's bound to happen, Felissa.
Yeah, not yet. Exactly. Terrifying.
Now, here's an interesting one. Since you're a parent, Marv, you're a parent. Kelsey, you don't have any kids yet, do you?
No,
she's young.
I'm a father as well. So you brought up the thing about being covered in blood, going home and seeing your kids. How do you explain that to them? I mean, my daughter is going to be 13 in March, and I'll never forget when I did my first film, a zombie film. She was 4 years old, and we had done like a 24-hour shoot. And, I mean, I'm driving an hour and a half back home, and, I mean, I look like I went on a murder spree. And she's like, oh, Daddy, what happened? What happened? How do you, for those of us that have kids, how do you explain that to your kids?
Well, I have little ones. They're, and they see me coming home, like, with prosthetics, even from, like, within these walls I was wearing something. And they revel in it. They love it. They're like, let me hold it. Let's see the blood. Oh, my God. I think, I've said this before, and I don't mind repeating myself. It's like when you have children, you just have to be really communicative and talk to them about it. I mean, it's the day when you're just, that you close off and you're just all bloody and they have no idea what's going on. I call it fun, it's pretend. It's mommy's entertainment. I mean, they know that's what I do. They've seen bits and pieces of most of my movies, and they love horror. They love it. My big girl is 8, and she wants to see everything. She's been watching the Halloween series, but they understand what it is. They know that.
Right.
And I think kids who are exposed to it early are better off than those who wait later on in life, because they realize that it's just play and pretend, and kids' imaginations are so much better than teens or adults or what have you. So they really, they enjoy it. They don't think it's crazy and kooky and all that stuff.
Marv, how about you? Have you ever had an experience like that with your kids?
Well, actually, my daughter does not. Unlike Felissa's kids, my daughter does not like horror, and I do have kind of a funny story. I did one of the segments of Psycho Street was a movie that I produced with Muscle Productions. It's called Lewis. It's a 70s style satanic cult film. Kind of like To the Devil a Daughter or The Sentinel, Wicker Man, movies like that. And
sure.
So I have some of my favorite films of the 70s, the cult films. I think they're terrifying. So we did this film, Lewis, and actually Kelsey's in the film as well. And we shot in small town Indiana, where I'm from, and it was a pretty big budget or a pretty big thing that we did. And so the local newspaper came out and they did a story about it, and it was on the front page of the local newspaper, and my name, the fact that we were shooting a satanic cult film. Well, at the time, my daughter was going to a private Christian school in that town. So she was so embarrassed because it was on the front page of the paper. And I will tell you that every time I would drive her to school after that article came out, I was treated very differently by the staff of that school. They weren't as warm and friendly to me as they had once been. So my daughter she wasn't happy about that getting in the paper. And she was, at that age, I think at that age she was probably junior high, freshman. And she was, those are the years where, nothing your parents do is cool. That we're all nerds. And, Felissa helped get me on a film in, right when I got to LA called Jurassic Block about dinosaurs. And so I was working as a soldier, and I was calling my daughter would call me the next day and say, how was work? And I said, well, I did last night. Daddy got eaten by a velociraptor. And so, she was like, Dad, your job is just so weird. It's just so not cool. So that's what I say. What?
That's just funny. Now, Kelsey, you have a short on your resume that I want to ask you about, and then I saw something else on IMDb I wanted to ask you about as well, just to make sure it's the same film I'm thinking about. First off, what can you tell us about Bacon?
Oh my God, how did I know? I actually have not even seen the full film. I won't get into it, but it was kind of pretty much just based on a inside joke with some filmmaker friends back in Chicago, where I worked on a lot of indie horror for years. And I guess it kind of took this theory of an obsession of Bacon to the point where it was kind of messing with her life, financially, her relationships, just everything was just kind of come crashing down because this obsession was so severe. So her boyfriend and an old friend of hers pretty much kidnapped her, kind of intervention style to kind of drain it out of her to give her life back. And it's it's obscure, but it's dark comedy, thriller, I don't know. Like I said, I haven't seen the full product actually, but it's something where there is a lot of comedy, but you have to give in to, this is so ridiculous because it's Bacon. So that's the mindset you have to go into it with.
Yeah, I saw the poster for it, and I was like, I have to ask her about that when I have her on.
Yeah.
Now, the other one that I'm asking about, it says it's in post-production, is the Melonheads. What company was that with? Because that sounds very familiar to me.
It's been in works for a while. I think it was maybe 3 years ago or so. It was with Eddie Lingio and Fright Tech Pictures in Cleveland. That's it. Yeah, are you familiar with it?
I'm familiar with it. I've actually had them on my show before.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that was one of the first things I did, actually, and that was fun.
Go ahead. I was just going to say there was no date listed for it on IMDb. It just said the Melonheads in post-production, so.
It's something that they've had to go through a few different editors and things to get it finished. So, I mean, they've just been kind of working on that post stage. So I guess whenever they get it finished, we'll be able to see it. But yeah, it was fun because it was one of those really fucked up, vindictive, malicious roles, which we all love to play. So yeah, should be pretty good.
Well, Felissa, you know, I have to get my one sleep away segment in, and I guess, you know, you had brought it up with your kids. At what point, I don't know if you feel this way about it, but I had a chance to interview your co-star, Jonathan Tiersten, a couple months back in a magazine interview, and I asked him, I said, are you still surprised to this day how popular that movie is and the following that it has? And I guess what I want to ask you is, you know, you look at it, last year was the 30th anniversary of Sleepaway Camp. You know, you're an icon because of that, not just because of that film, but the ending of that film puts you at a level that very few attain in the industry. You will always be remembered for that role. You know, when your children get old enough, you know, how would you go about explaining that to them? And yeah, I know it seems it's like a big question, but I mean it is when you look at it, you are so like Robert Englund can never go anywhere else in the world and not be known as Freddy. Kane Hodder is Jason, you know, things like that. Mm-hmm. You as Angela can never be forgotten. That was such a shocking moment. You know, where do you feel like it falls in horror history? And you know, like I said, you know, with your kids in the future, how do you explain that role to them?
Well, first of all, I appreciate that. That was very kind, and it does amaze me. I'm blown away. I'm grateful, and my gratitude for how long it's 15 minutes have gone on and on. I said they're going to have to wheel me into the conventions in a couple of years. I've often wondered how I will explain the last scene to my kids, but I think because that final moment will be very difficult. However, being that I married someone who is probably the biggest fan and biggest champion for Sleepaway Camp, it's helpful because he, through his eyes and his perspective, is constantly explaining to them, like, you know, how much he loves Sleepaway Camp, so they see his adoration for it, and I've been lucky enough to meet. I mean, everyone I've met I say I have a life because of Sleepaway Camp. You know, I have a career because of it. I have friends because of it. I mean, one of my best friends is Sean Whalen, and it's like, you know, I'm a fan of his work, and the only reason I met him is because he just adores Sleepaway Camp. So it's like, you know, I'm married because of it. It's just something that has endured and gone on, and I don't know. Sleepaway Camp is like this cheesy little 80s flick that sort of took on its own little world and life, and for that I'm really happy, and it's it just keeps on trucking, you know, with the Blu-ray coming, and who knows what the future has in store for the other installments and whatnot. We'll see. Well,
that was the next thing I was going to say is, you know, are there any truth to the rumors that float around all the time?
Absolutely.
Would there be
There's
another
a lot
one?
of truth. I mean, I hope so. You know, it feels like it's the last of the Mohicans, you know, with all of the other 80s having been remade and rebooted and all of that. I'm hoping that it sees the light of day with this generation, maybe my kids, and I would love it. It would be a dream come true. It's just a matter of kind of figuring out how creatively with everyone on board and the whole team together agreeing. So we'll see, you know. I think so. I think we've gotten pretty far, so, you know, time will tell.
Indeed. Well, we have about 10 minutes left, so what I want to do now is I'm going to go around, and I'll start with Marv. Marv, why don't you tell everyone about future projects you have coming up, things that you're keeping an eye on, if people want to follow you, anything like that.
Okay. Well, thank you. First, I got to say, and Kelsey probably will agree with me, to actually have Felissa Rose as a friend friend and a coworker is amazing. She's incredible, and I know Kelsey probably will say the same thing. To work with Felissa, an icon in this industry, who is just as nice as could be. She's not going to cut you up like she did in Sleepaway Camp, I don't think. But she's an incredible woman, and she's an incredible actress, and she's just like Kelsey, she's got a smile on her face. Felissa is one of the people when I got to LA who really went out of their way to help me out, and I owe Felissa a lot. She got me cast in a few movies, and she's really gone out of her way. So I appreciate the fact that I'm working with an icon who's just
absolutely.
Yeah,
I pay them a lot of money to say that.
But right now I am in Indiana with my family. I'm headed back to LA probably in the next few weeks, trying to make some money here to get back to Los Angeles. It's so expensive. I have a film that actually Felissa I think is involved in this too. It's a movie called No Service that I was supposed to be working on in February, and another film called Porn Star Massacre, which I think has a nice ring to it, that I was supposed to be working on too. As I play a porn star who gets massacred. I mean, the title says it all. Says it all.
You just can't be a good guy for long, can you?
No. I get to play these sleazeballs. I love it. And then I'm actually working on a script called Male Stripper Massacre, which is a horror comedy. And, if I get the ideal casting, Felissa and Kelsey will both be part of that. I honestly, I love writing probably just as much as I like acting. I have a werewolf script I've been trying to get off the ground, too. But right now, the next few things are that our reality show kind of got stalled, but there's some rumor that they're making life back into a reality show. I don't know. We'll wait and see. So that's what I'm working on.
And if people want to follow you, Facebook, Twitter, anything like that?
Yeah, Facebook. You can go. I have a fan page, which I was so reluctant to put together a fan page. I was like, I just was like, okay, how narcissistic am I to put together a fan page, right? But my manager kept saying, you got to do it. So I went ahead and did it. So you could go to my regular page, which is just Marv Blauvelt, or you can go to my fan page, actor Marv Blauvelt, which again, either or. But yeah, I don't have a website. We used to have a Muscle Wolf website, but it went down and we never put it back up. So and we're in the process of changing some things with that. So, but that's it.
Wow. Kelsey, how about you?
Well, in the early stages of a few different things now, but one in particular is starting to work on the script for a creature feature. So that should, be pretty cool, kind of dealing with a lot of different fundamental themes of monster movies and kind of what brings out that monster in you and all that. So that's still in the early stages, but a few projects. I just was lucky enough to see I did Axe to Grind earlier this year, where it was another great crew and film to work on, where I had a smaller featured part. It was the young Debbie Rochon in that, and so when that comes out, I definitely recommend people see that. It's really, I would say, kind of a satire on horror films and kind of the filming process, and still has this psychological, vengeful, bloody side to it too. So,
what is that called, Kelsey?
Axe to Grind.
Wow, that sounds
I'll have to look into that one for sure.
Yeah, really. That's another one. So busy. Like, we were definitely really on it when filming, and a lot of really great, talented people are involved with that one. Incredible script. So, but I know it premiered in somewhere like a month ago. So I think it's still like doing like the festival circuit and all that. But, so a few more upcoming projects kind of in the earlier stages now, but I have everything on my website, KelseyZukowski.com, and on Facebook and all that as well. So.
Felissa, and how about you?
I have a movie coming out April 15th called Camp Dread. It was actually retitled by Image Entertainment, who's releasing it. It was originally called Dead TV. So look for Camp Dread, and that stars Eric Roberts, Danielle Harris, and myself. And it's a really cool take on the 80s camp slasher. Could you believe it? But now I'm grown up and I get to play the counselor. So that was a treat. It's written and directed by a very dear friend of mine, Harrison Smith. And Harrison was kind enough to include me in his film that he recently did. We filmed this fall, and it stars Billy Zane, Misha Barton, Dee Wallace, Gabrielle Stone, and myself, called Zombie Killers, Elephant's Graveyard. And that was a fucking blast. So I got to fly to the Poconos and play crazy religious woman. And she was just very close to like the Marcia Gay Harden in The Mist. So I really had to reach outside of my being and just play this sort of lunatic. He says I'm scarier than the zombies, so I feel I did my job. And I worked with Dave Camfield on a movie called Caesar and Otto's Deadly Christmas, which came out recently, and I'm very proud of that. I have a cameo, but the cast is terrific. Joe Estevez and Brink Stevens, Debbie Rochon, Linnea Quigley, my husband, Darren Miller, and he's a fantastically funny writer, Dave Camfield. And I produced and acted in a movie called No Solicitors this fall as well, which stars Eric Roberts, Beverly Randolph. Marv and Kelsey are in it, and they're terrific, and it's coming along beautifully. We're in post. And then look for the Blu-ray on Sleepaway Camp from Scream Factory, Shout Factory. That comes out in March. And, I just signed a TV deal with a company at Warner Brothers, so we'll see where that goes, and just taking it one day at a time with these three crazy kids of mine.
Well, guys, I definitely want to say thank you for coming on. You guys are always welcome at Horror Society. If you ever have any news, please feel free to send it to me. If you guys ever want to come on the podcast again, you're always welcome on the podcast.
Sign me up. When?
Awesome, thank you.
I mean, I'm serious. Anytime you guys want to be on, the show's always on Tuesdays. As long as you drop me a line, I can schedule you in. It is absolutely not a problem. Cool. But, again, I just want to say thank you for being on. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing Within These Walls. Marv, I'll get up with Jason and tell him I need to see Terror Overload, because now I want to see the episode with you in it. And it's... On a personal level, again, I want to say, thank you to Felissa, because, like I said, you are an icon. You are someone that's haunted me since 1983 in that role. So it is truly appreciated.
You're so sweet.
Well, guys, before I let you go, do you want to give a website, Facebook, Twitter, anything for Within These Walls?
It's just the Facebook, so it's facebook.com/WithinTheseWallsMovie. And yeah, we're putting updates on there and different stills and behind the scenes, and there's the teaser there. So we'll have lots of new updates along the way as we get further into post and get the film out there to you guys.
Well, excellent. Again, guys, thank you for coming on, and we look forward to having you on the Calling Hours on Horror Society Radio again.
Thank you. You're awesome. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Have a great night. Bye.
Bye. And once again, we had on Kelsey Zukowski, Marv Blauvelt, and Felissa Rose from the upcoming Within These Walls. It was really great to talk to all of them. Looking over Kelsey's work, I feel like she has an extremely bright future as a producer, director, and actress in the industry. Marv, I can't wait to watch more of your stuff, man, especially after that story with Jason. And Felissa, again, thank you for the years of entertainment and everything that you've given to the fans. So, coming up, we are going to do our Blu-ray review of Scream Factory's The Beast Within. But before we get to that, we are going to go into the second part of our Metal Blade Spotlight this evening. Earlier, we played The Siege of the Mind from Bodyfarm off their upcoming CD, The Coming Scourge. The next track by Bodyfarm in the Metal Blade Spotlight, again off of the album The Coming Scourge, is Enter the Eternal Fire.
Surprise, how I was playing.
welcome back to the Calling Hours on Horse Society Radio. This is your host, the Dedman, Michael Jones, welcoming you back. You just listened to Bodyfarm off their upcoming CD, The Coming Scourge. The name of the song was Enter the Eternal Fire. For those of you that are new to the show, every week we pick a Metal Blade band since they are nice enough. My good friend Kelly out there at Metal Blade Records sends me all the new releases, and I pick two from a current release and play it for everyone. To give you a little bit of info on Bodyfarm and the Coming of Scourge, it is a Metal Blades Records Cyclone Empire release for February 18th of this year. From Metal Blades' website, Bodyfarm was founded in the late summer of 2009 by Quint Meerbeek and Thomas Wouters with the intent to play quality death metal with a mind of its own. Their self-titled EP received great response worldwide. The band released their debut album Malevolence in the summer of 2012 on Cyclone Empire. So far, Bodyfarm has built a good live reputation in the Netherlands and Germany by playing on festivals such as Extreme Fest and Neurotic Death Fest. Bodyfarm will release their second studio album, The Coming Scourge, through Cyclone Empire on September 20th, 2013, followed by festival performances at Hell Inside, Zombie Fest, and the Eindhoven Metal Meeting. On February 18th of 2014, The Coming Scourge will finally be released in North America via Metal Blade Records. The lineup includes Quint Meerbeek on drums, Thomas Wouters on guitars and vocals, Harry Van Breda on bass, and Bram Hilhorst on guitars. So, you like your death metal, a little different, a little bit higher pitched. I think Bodyfarm is definitely worth checking out. Make sure to check in on HorseSociety.com in the coming days, and there will be a written review up for Bodyfarm, The Coming Scourge. Now, our last little bit of the evening, we are going to cover Scream Factory's Blu-ray release of The Beast Within. And this is a movie, again, one of those movies I remember from my childhood, older film. Has some names in it: Ronnie Cox, RoboCop, Beverly Hills Cop, yes. B.B. Besh from Tremors, Paul Clemens, Communion, L.Q. Jones, The Wild Bunch, and R.G. Armstrong, Race with the Devil. Really an interesting piece, makeup effects-wise, I find it to be a highly, highly watchable film. But to give you an idea, spoiler alert, a teenager is experiencing growing pains of a most shocking kind in this exciting, tense, and all too real story of a human into monster transformation. 18-year-old Michael McCleary, the progeny of an unholy union between his mother and a swamp beast, is on the verge of becoming a man. And as an inherited evil in his blood gnaws at his soul, Michael must return to the swamp to uncover the terrifying identity of his father before his nasty natural tendencies force him to feed on the locals. Really a creepy, creepy film, from the assault in the beginning of the film. Poor Michael, the parents can't figure out what's wrong with him, finding out he's basically a giant cicada within himself, growing from the inside out. And the story of his father and mother trying to find out, what the circumstances were of, his conception and how to deal with him possibly dying with the doctors not knowing what's going on. You get plenty of nice and intensely nasty, gory deaths in this film. There's nothing quite like seeing someone getting embalmed alive or, throats crushed and people being dismembered and eaten. Those are always bonuses. But again, I feel like, kudos has to be given for the effects for this film. Some of the bladder effects are quite impressive, rates on the same level with things like An American Werewolf in London and The Howling, in terms of the competency of the makeup. And as an effects artist, I find that to be an important part of any horror film. As far as bonus features go, you have an audio commentary with director Philippe Mora and actor Paul Clemens. You have an audio commentary as well by writer Tom Holland, and you have the theatrical trailers. As far as Scream Factory's releases go, once again, it's a beautiful-looking film. It retains the graininess and darkness that it needs. Remember having seen it, when I was younger, it definitely needed to convey that darker look and feel to it, and I think Scream Factory managed to keep within that. I think the sound levels might be a little bit low, but other than that, it's not something that's really a detraction from the disc. As far as having more special bonus features, we all get spoiled with Scream Factory's releases, and I certainly would have loved to have seen more special features added onto this disc. Any kind of old interviews or new interviews with any of the cast, Ronnie, BB, Paul, anyone that's still around. I would have loved to have heard some insight on their thoughts on the film. Again, I would love to hear more about the effects, because there was certainly a lot of blood and gore that got sprayed around, and I wouldn't want to have been the guy on set trying to clean everything up. Let's just say that. But as far as releases go, once again, I think Scream Factory has pretty much hit it out of the park. The original MGM release, while it looked good, it doesn't hold a candle to this transfer. I mean, I think that pretty much goes without saying. Is it worth picking up? Yes, definitely worth picking up. If you're into those odd creature features from, the late 70s, early 80s, I mean, it's definitely a film that you want to check out. Like I said, it does have some interesting actors in it, in some interesting roles. Doing my research, I should have realized that Ronnie Cox was in stuff, other genre stuff other than RoboCop, and seeing this was definitely a nice reminder. So we're definitely giving this a recommendation here. If you're a collector, it's certainly a film worth adding to your collection. And if you do the pre-release and you order it early enough, you can get the alternate poster art or the alternate DVD art in a small poster that you can add to your collection. And it's a nice little touch that Scream Factory adds to their releases, always trying to add something a little extra, something a little different. So definitely run out and get this one. So we're getting to the time. Show end a little early tonight, but I think we had a great time. We had Scott W. Perry on from the In Fear Of series. I'm glad he had a great time up at the Macabre Film Festival. Want to say hi to Elsie up there. I'm sorry I couldn't make it up with personal issues and things like that, but hopefully next time. And congratulations again to Scott for the great showing and the deal they got over in Italy and the write-up. I'm glad to see that independent horror is doing well, not only here but all over the world, and people everywhere are helping to support it. Excuse me. Want to say thank you again very much so to Kelsey Zukowski, Marv Blauvelt, and Felissa Rose for coming on and talking about Within These Walls. I think that all of these people are very talented in what they do. I think that Kelsey and Marv have excellent futures in the industry. I'm looking forward to seeing more of their work. Felissa, of course, as an icon in the genre, thank you for the years of Nightmares. It was a true honor to have you on as well. I look forward to seeing Within These Walls. And when Horror Society gets more info on the series, it will certainly be up on the main site. We also want to say thank you this evening to our friends at Metal Blade Records, in particular my friend Kelly out there, for giving us Bodyfarm's The Coming Scourge to listen to in our Metal Blade Spotlight this evening. We also want to say thank you to Tom Chen and all of our friends out there at Scream Shout Factory for supplying us with a copy of The Beast Within. Both reviews for The Beast Within and Bodyfarm will be up on HorrorSociety.com here shortly. For all your horror needs, make sure to come out and check us out at www.HorrorSociety.com. Before I let you go for the evening, we will announce that our February 4th show, we will be having Rebecca Herzberg on. We also know that the Soska twins will be on that show as well. So if you're a fan of the Soska twins and Rebecca, definitely check in on the February 4th show. So, before we let you go, we are going to close out the evening with Metal Blade Spotlight for next week. The name of the band is Sister. The name of the CD is Disguised Vultures. And as a matter of fact, we're going to play the title track, Disguised Vultures. So, until next time, ladies and gentlemen, rest in peace.